Hello and welcome to AAA Wargaming. It's Battle Report number 44, and this is the second friendly ahead of Art of War 6. So this is with Ben, another Spiker Club stalwart, and he is back on Orcs and Goblins. This will also be the first time I've played the new Orc and Goblins list, which will be really cool. This we played on the Friday night down at Bristol Independent Gaming, the just on the Friday evening to have a friendly game before doing the tournament on the Saturday and Sunday. We agreed to do the first objective, which is a standard deployment of Dawn Assault, and the secondary objective, capture the flags. But there was a special rule, which is once during each magic phase, the active player may cast a bound spell that puts a rift counter down on the table. After the phase which you cast it, every magic phase you roll a d6 for rift counters. You can cast this multiple times, and it works like a comet. So on a 1 to 3, nothing happens. On a 4 to 6, d6 plus x, where x is the number of veil tokens and x strength, AP2, etc. happen. So it was cool. Just for the record, spoiler alert, this has got more relevance in the battle report that I'll do next, because this wasn't cast once by either Ben or I. Not even attempted to be cast by either of us, which is pretty bad. But there you go. Cool. Right. So the big changes of my list are the Forest Prince, no Obsidian Rock, which is an oversight, I'll admit. And then I changed both Kestrel Knights to the Flaming Standard. I thought there'd be lots of ghasts and trolls because undead were looking pretty big and gas seemed to be doing really well. I don't know, they may have been, but they didn't, from the list building, they weren't. So this was an oversight on my behalf and something I probably should have rectified. I probably should have taken one, but honestly, when I was looking at the army, I didn't want to get into a situation where I couldn't remember which one had a Flaming Standard and which one had Banner and Silent Mist, so I just went with both Flaming Standard, um, just to minimise that risk as it was. Otherwise, Ben's list as is, so he had an Orc Loner with a Wyvern, so he can move around, is pretty dangerous. He's also got Death Cheater, so actually this game, the Flaming Standards did matter, because Kestrel's go into that. I mean, just go through his armor pretty much, especially if they've got a +1 strength on. With the Obsidian Rock and Dragon Staff, so that was pretty dangerous. He's then got a Warlord in with a Grunter, or what was a Ball Boy, and with Supernatural Dexterity is still slower than my Lord, so I'm pretty happy with that. Gonna go for that one. And then he's got a Pyrancy Master, and I've got no magic res, so Scorching Salve is going to be dangerous, unlike normally where I'd run a Blade Dancers with some MR. So that's coming out. So I'm going to have a difficult choice between Pyroclastic Flow, Swords of Flaming Swords, and Scorching Salvo. So I'm going to have to let two dangerous spells through a turn, potentially. He's then got an Adapt on, again, on another boar with Thaumaturgy. He's got 3 units of Feral Orcs, 2 with bows, and then 8 Goblin Reavers, 15 Marauders, where I'm guessing the Wizard and the General go. A Giant Club with a Big Brother, 2 Splatterers, which will be annoying, but actually I'm pretty happy with that. And then 10 Gnasher Dashers, 6 Goblins, and 2 Wrecking Teams. Big thing of that, I was going to try and mitigate the Pyromancy by flying away from it, and also kill the Wrecking Teams as soon as possible to get some maneuverable dominance. Magic, I don't think there was any shocks there. Yeah. My logic was entwining roots will be better and useful in combat and shooting rather than just the hereditary on my Druidism deck. Otherwise, I didn't change anything. So here's the map. So in this, we've got a hill, 2 walls, impassable. I've got forest on the left, forest on the right, and a hill. Ben won the roll off and chose top left, so I had bottom right, and therefore I put my forest on this side. So if he wanted to do any ambushes, they'd have to come on with a forest, and I could mitigate the threat. I decided to drop for first, and my logic here was training to play the game tomorrow as well. And what I wanted to do was see about whether I could have all archers on one area and push on the Briar Maidens on one flank, much like I did against Anton with the Lord, whilst also having my entire flying circus with the BSB parade around here and kill as much as possible before before my archers get overrun. So I'm expecting to lose the deployment, lose the objective, but hopefully I can kill enough. Ben's deployment, Grotling's scouted, so it's going to be difficult with them because they're going to chaff my briars, and what I don't want to do is get countercharged by the head hard boys, hard boy marauders, and the lord with the wyvern and the giant. So they're going to be coming forward. I expected these three to be coming forward pretty aggressively towards my archers. He's got the Nasher Dashers behind that can fly, but there. Two Scratapults, two Orcs blocks with bows, and his Master Pyro is there. The Thaumaturgy and the Lord in that side, and then two wrecking teams here. So one's coming down the centre, and one can stop all my Kestrels on the flank. So not too bad. I was reasonably happy. I think I was under pressure. I think the plan still extends. I'm under pressure on the right, and it's just see how long my archers can last while I push with the left and fix him. My vanguards moved up there to give myself some flexibility. Right, Silver Helms turn one. So what I did was I stuck to the plan. I didn't move my Briar Maidens up. I probably need to take more risk with these, but with all that poison attacks, I just thought, no, I'll try and shoot them off if the worst comes to the worst. I've then brought the eagles over here so I can threaten both angles and do a bit of chaffing if need to, and brought the druidism wizard over here, just same reason, an extra bit of chaff if I need it against these big blocks. I've moved the archers into range of the wrecking team in the centre, whilst also getting line of sight to the BSB, while staying out of line of sight potentially of the Pyro wizard, because that would end pretty badly for me. I'm then lined that up to do magic with Swarm of Insects, because I can still cast with the Druidism Adept from the forest, so I was pretty happy with Master of Earth, and then both Kestrels here. So I'm out of charge. I think I gave that like a 666 to get into one Kestrels, which is probably pretty stupid, but it stopped me moving any too far. So what I have done is this area is where if these units move forward, they'll get double charged by the Eagles and Kestrels or Kestrels and Kestrels, etc. So what I have done is pretty good there. He As you can see here in Magic, he's let me get off a Totemic Summon, which, yeah, pretty good. And then also with Master of Earth, I one-shotted. I had a pretty good Magic phase. One-shotted one of the Wrecking teams, and then between shooting with the BSB and the others, I one-shot the other Wrecking team. So between Totemic Summon in the rear and both Wrecking teams off, tick VG. I then took a wound off the Giant as well. Orcs and Goblins turn one, so yep, no surprise. He's got his. They've turned up. Everything's moved forward. He's putting a lot of pressure on my archers at the moment because I haven't got that many threats over there because all my kestrels are over this side. He's moved the Mash and Dashers back to go and deal with the Totemic Summon, which I thought was good. Yeah, he needs to get rid of that because otherwise I'll kill both his war machines and it mitigates their threat. Yeah, other than that, he's lined up to shoot my units. He does take them off. He's taken off a kestrel and a wound, so he's took 3 wounds on them, and then I think it was actually his catapult that got 3 wounds off there. But otherwise, everyone passed their panic check, so no issues. I think the magic was a bit of a fluff on this one. Now I'm going to go back to this side before I go to my next turn. When he's moved up here, he gave a flank to my Briar Maidens. So, and then it's not firing over. I think it was an 8 to get into the flank of the ball boys there. So what I did, and I also charged the archers in just to make sure I didn't come up and get stuck on them, and potentially I can get into one of his scoring units and fix all that coming at me, kill a unit, fix his ball boys or his marauders, and then he's only got his wyvern coming through. In the centre, I moved my archers up. So what I wanted him to charge this unit and hopefully pass my panic check or terror checks. And then I didn't care whether they died because what I did was brought the Kestrel unit off the hill that had taken some hits and put them there so they could countercharge the giant and possibly run into the wyvern. I then moved my other archers back, and my plan was I was going to flee if he charged there because I just wanted to give him that option. I moved my wizard up out of here out of the way, just to keep it part of the game. That will be relevant later. That was actually quite an important move. It was just something you keep out of the way, but the way she's pointing, it actually proved quite fruitful. Otherwise, I brought the eagles across here. This was probably a mistake. I'm blocking line of sight there, but I'm in charge range of them when the war's called. Like it's an easier 3d6, and I shouldn't have done that. So what I should have done, because I didn't need to, I should have just moved them back a little bit and made sure that they weren't possible. Because if you hit them, they go into them, and then game over pretty much. Or I'm losing, and the question is by how much. As you can see, my totemic summon got into the flank, got into that guy, so that's pretty good. The other thing I've done, because it's turn 2 for him next, and he can bring on both his ambushes, I've brought the other kestrels back, and they're looking to the left. And the reason is, if he puts any of these units here, I'm pretty happy. I mean, one is definitely a score. I think both of them are scoring actually, because the spider thingies are not fast cav. They're not light cav. So he doesn't want to put. I didn't want him to put them there in my flank. In hindsight, maybe I did want to. Maybe I should have. Maybe I should have done that and just tried to drag 2 scoring units out there and push. Yeah, that's an interesting one. So in hindsight, actually, what I should have done was push up into here and threaten all this way. Maybe I couldn't get up into that angle. Maybe close that one off, because there's 2 scoring units here that I could have gone for. But then, yeah, no, I'd have had to push with at least 1, probably 2, and this way I wanted to trap this lot. Okay, coulda, shoulda, woulda. Magic, I got another totem off, and my totem summon. So I think I can. He can't kill both, so I think I'm going to get both war machines, and he can go and kill a free unit with his things. Right. So in combat, this is the roll my general did against his grotlings. You only need 2s to hit it. Luckily, he did manage to roll higher than a 1 on that last 5, so he did do 1 wound to them. But otherwise, I probably should have known that they're not that good. Ben wasn't worried that they were going to die. I was a little concerned, but they crumbled and everything else. I chose to overrun as planned and got in and then turned the archer around. So I think the only person who could charge the archers was the giant. Right, Ben's turn. He called the war, and I'd forgotten about this up to this point, which is why I misplaced the eagles. I thought I'd given them a 12 or 11. No, I gave him 11, but actually it's a 10 on the Swiss stride. Luckily, he rolled 3 ones, so hey. Yeah, so I survived. I probably should have fled at that point. What he did, he charged with the wyvern. I ran with one of my archers unit as planned, and he didn't redirect because he didn't want to be any closer to there, and he didn't want to double overrun into there. And the giant got in, and my archers passed their panic check. I did have break the spirit on the giant as well, so it lost a wound or 2 on the way in as well, or maybe that was stand and shoot. Either way. In magic and shooting, he's put a couple of wounds on. Oh yeah, he's also charged the Nasher dashes into the totemic summon, so I'm expecting them to go at this point. He's put a couple of wounds on the eagles in the center, and other than that, not. Oh, he does bring his ambushes in as well, so he brings them up here, and yeah, like it's fine for me. They're out of the game. I can go and get them. I've got enough time if I really want to, but I'm more concerned with killing his center and giant and wyvern at the moment, and not let them run around forever. That was 2 wounds on them, or 1 wound because he's counting down. In this combat here, he kills 6. I put another wound on him, and then he overruns again, takes another wound, but runs down the unit, and he's pretty much stuck in front of the kestrels, and that's all good. So he charges. He does no wounds. I kill 2 back, which means I've won by 1. He breaks. I run him down. I run into the thing. So this totemic summon on his own has probably accounted for 445 points, with the other totem just making up numbers. And now Ben's got an issue with 2 totemic summons next to his block that, if you look there, has got his Pyro Master in. So I'm feeling pretty good about that at the moment. Right, turn 3. So in combat, what happens? So we did have another combat, which is this one. I pass all my 4-up fortitudes and whatever them, but because of the +3 defense, he was hitting me on 5s with his lord. and he did no wounds to me because I managed to roll them all. And there's a wound counter, so I did one to him. He passed and then reformed. So now it's my turn. We're facing into each other. I elect to first charge with these kestrels, the Wyvern. So he flees through them, doesn't take any wounds to DTs, and lands there. I then have a choice about. I choose to redirect with the kestrels, and I go into the giant, who also flees. But I do eventually catch that one on. I need a 10 on 3 dice, and I do get it. What I then have here is I charge with the wizard, which is why this is important. I won't be able to push him off the board, but that's really close. It was like a 9-inch or something, or it would come down to dice, or I had 1 inch on him or something like that. But it's closer than that looks. So I've definitely got an advantage on there, so I could do that. Unfortunately, I missed it by 1, so that's yeah, I missed it by 1. That's the way cookie crumbles. Right. In terms of other movement, what I do is yeah, you can see here, this is me clipping the giant there. I kill that as well, but in magic I did get break the spirit off on the ball boys and the lord and everything else, and now it's just to minus their strength and AP just to give my Briar Maidens a bit more chance, but also the lord as well. So he's hitting me on 5s and winning me on 4s because I'm res 5. In combat again, he does nothing to me, to my Briars, because I'm rolling 4-ups like a boss. And then I put 1 wound. Oh, in fact, I killed 2 of them. I put 2 wounds on him, and with the Briar Maidens, and then also I put 2 wounds on his Lord and 1 wound back to me. So I think it was a draw again or a 1-by-1, but either way he sticks. And you can see what I've done here. I've moved my kestrels. This is actually his turn, but I've moved my kestrels back in because actually they're out of the battle. They're off. I want to bring as much in here because I'm hoping that I hold for another turn on his turn, and then I can charge into flank and I can kill this unit as well and really put pressure. Otherwise, he rallies his lord there, so missed that chance, but it's okay. And he's turned his archers around here to look at the totemic summon because he doesn't want 2 of them in, so he's going to use magic and shooting and probably get at least 1 of them off, and possibly both. His shooting goes the other way, and I think that's Scorching Salvo as well, and just rips that kestrel unit apart. Yeah, you can see him kill 1 of the totemic summons. And then in this combat, so firstly my lord does the final wound to him and kills him. I always break the spirit. It was -1 to hit. He didn't let the strength 1 off. And then in response, he massacres about 7 of my unit. I couldn't pass a 4-up to save my life. And then I fail. I pretty much, even with the discipline 9, I think it was auto break or I needed double 1. I run, I get chased down, but we've got a unit that big sat bang in the middle of the line. And my turn 4. So my turn 4, I charged it with, I think, the Eagles or something. But either way, I think without his lord there, they're pretty weak. So he fled. And he fled over there. And then what I did was I charged again with my Eagle character to run them off the board. I just thought it was the right thing to do. And because of the speed and mobility, even with his Wyvern there, what I can do is I can maneuver my units back in. So I've moved the Kestrels at the bottom that killed the giant up to there, and I moved the other Kestrels unit to here. And the plan was to just overload him with magic and use one of the heal spells to bring one of them back, which I do. While the Titanic Summon goes into there, I probably should have just moved the Titanic Summon there and given him another choice about whether he turns around or not and does everything and goes after something here, but I didn't. And otherwise, I've brought the Eagles up. So if he wants to charge, he can go in there, but then he gets a barrel load of laughs and everything else coming back the other way and probably dies. So good win for me. Yep, he kills in my turn, so big mistake because now he gets to turn around and move back. So he's moved back over and did some magical shooting, limited. His Wyvern has moved back round the hill, and then in my turn, I started pushing out again. So my plan was, because his wizard was here, what I wanted to do was overload with 2 units, and I thought I could survive with a good enough hit to get 2 units into there and grind them down between stomps, attacks, everything else. And that was my theory. Whilst also, what I wanted to do, I didn't want to leave him a sort of turn 6 late push, so I left the Kestrels here to keep his Wyvern honest, because he can't move his Wyvern out. If he moves him in there, I can sort of go for him. So that was the idea between them there, while everything else was pointing this way. Magic was a bit of a bust. I didn't get any of the like Chilling Howl or +1 rares and everything off. And so when he goes to his turn 5, he picks off 4 more wings off the Kestrels and gets 2 models down. And you can see that's not looking good for me. And that pretty much ends it there, because we discussed it. We had a look at it. It was a friendly, and we went, well, you're not going to come out on turn. I'm going to zone you on turn 6, so you're not going to be able to come around and charge me. I'm just going to move away, so we're not even bothering to move, and then you're not going to be able to do enough damage to kill, because that's the way Cookie crumbles. So we left it there. Although we could have easily done turn 6, but it would have been a non-entity. And that's what it ended on. So I got more points than him. On battle points, we left it as a 13-7. Those points aren't accurate. We did tot it up a few times. It's just that's what I've written down. And then, but he won the secondary because he killed 2 of my archers, and I only got one of his scoring with marauders, which was a sacrifice I made. But otherwise, a really fun game. I think it worked out as both of us probably planned. Yeah, except I think what changed it was him leaving me that flank charge with the Grotlings and being able to hold up his big centre and go through his marauders and allow my lord to kill his general lord. And it also put his Wyvern in a bit of a difficult situation, which meant I could counter charge and just keep it away all game. I mitigated his magic and shooting threats quite a lot. And my totemic summons were just ballers all the time. So I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, right. So a 1 draw, 1 win on 2 games. So actually, the army's going well as we're about to head in the next day into Art of War 6. So I was pretty happy. Yeah, no. Hope you've enjoyed this battle report. And I've getting them out as much quicker. So the next one will be tomorrow, and that'll be game 1 of Art of War. So hope you're looking forward to it. And then the plan is, because my wife's away, I'm going to try and get one out a week for this week after work. So by the weekend, there might be the odd days slip. We should have everything wrapped up. Now I'm going to take a break now, get some lunch, and then I'm going to commit heresy and make some Horus Heresy Space Marines. Hope you have a good weekend.